Hello, I'm Maria Hall Brown, and this is LA Currents. Living in Southern California, we're used to hearing that we need to prepare for all kinds of things, earthquakes, fires, landslides, etc. But there's one area that we also should take into consideration, the possibility of a tsunami. I'm delighted to be joined today by Jessica Kellogg. She's the Public Information Officer for the Los Angeles Emergency Management Department. So nice to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
You guys cover a wide range of different things, but there are plans in place within the Emergency Management Department in the case of a tsunami. So what happens in your vantage point?
So from our vantage point, we have a duty officer who constantly maintains watch while the Emergency Operations Center is not activated, and he's in touch with multiple parties, the County of Los Angeles, the National Weather Service, and they relay information to the duty officer based on a pending tsunami event.
All right, so as we were saying, and we've said this a couple times now, we're sort of aware that we need to kind of have an earthquake kit in our car, and we're sort of aware that we need to have these plans in place, to gather our family, etc. But what about people who want to just understand what they should have that might be different or might be exactly the same with a tsunami? Where's the, there's information, I'm sure, available, and I'm sure it comes through the city.
Yes. So through Ready Your LA Neighborhood, we have a program that will introduce you to general preparedness tips on how to prepare for any event, because preparation is pretty universal. Imagine that you did receive an evacuation alert for a fire or a tsunami, then what you would take with you to a shelter or to your place of stay in the interim would be the same. So having your toiletries available, food for additional days, water for yourself, your family, and your dog, your pets, having that communication plan in place, extra chargers, personal documents, maybe on a zip file or copies of those documents that can be packed up into a backpack. Whatever you think that you would need and wouldn't be able to retrieve immediately following a disaster is what you should take with you.
Oh, that's Rylan?
Yes.
Okay, and Rylan stands for?
Ready Your LA Neighborhood.
Now, Rylan is an app and a website?
Well, we are developing an app,
awesome.
But that's not online yet. It is a website, so you can visit readyla.org, and we also work within homes for preparedness, but it is about connecting communities, so connecting neighborhoods and neighbors together so that they would all be able to respond to a disaster by helping each other out.
We worked together quite a bit through this whole pandemic experience. It seems to me that what we have in place here in Los Angeles is pretty sophisticated in regards to its ability to respond and its ability to coordinate and its outreach to the community.
We are a very robust department, and being in the city of Los Angeles, we're blessed with a lot of resources. A lot of neighboring jurisdictions would say that we are resource rich, but we take that with pride because we are always willing to share our resources and extend our subject matter expertise, as well as embrace the outside knowledge and the external help that's provided by our partners.
Okay, so if people want to get more information,
visit tsunamizone.org.
All right, that's very straightforward. All right, Jessica, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Stay tuned. We have more information on exactly what a tsunami is and how it might affect Southern California. The science of tsunamis is actually very, very fascinating. I'm delighted to be joined now by Eric Bolt. He is a warning coordination meteorologist with the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, aka NOAA. So nice to have you here.
Glad to be here.
Getting into it is fascinating in terms of what a tsunami is and everything, but I want to begin here specifically with Los Angeles. I think we all know that earthquakes are normally what we understand to generate tsunamis, but there are other factors at play, are there not?
Yeah, earthquakes are the main reason for generating tsunamis, but we recently had a volcano that exploded, and that caused a tsunami. So it was kind of a seat of the pants type moment where we had to think about how severe could this be, and it turned out to be very accurately forecasted. So that's one of them, and also landslides. If you think about these tall cliffs that we have off some of our coasts, if it would slump into the ocean, that could cause a local tsunami, maybe the worst case scenario, because we wouldn't have any warning for that type of event.
Can a man-made event cause a tsunami?
Back in the 50s and 60s, I think we had, or 40s, we had nuclear testing.
Yeah.
And we did a lot of bombs out in the Pacific Ocean. Didn't really cause any significant type of tsunami. So I think we're safe from a man-made caused.
There are, I don't want to call them threats, but there are events that could take place in other parts of the world that would affect the California coastline. I think we've all kind of understood that Alaska has an effect. We heard one from the Japanese earthquake.
Right, and so the Ring of Fire.
Okay, so what is that?
Pacific Ring of Fire. That's where all the volcanoes and earthquake plates are rubbing together. It's a big ring around the entire Pacific Ocean. So over by Chile, we've had some really big tsunamis originate from that area of South America. It takes about 12 to 13 hours to reach us once that occurs. Japan takes about 10 hours to get here. Alaska, about 5 hours. The Cascadia subduction zone off the coast of Oregon and Washington, it's very similar size to Sumatra, if you remember that event back in 2004. If that one went off on a major earthquake, we'd only have about 2 hours to get out of the way.
Wow. And how do we know these are coming? I mean, Jessica mentioned, that there is the National Tsunami Warning Center, but are there warning centers all over the place, and how does the warning apparatus work?
So there's 2 warning centers, and there can be some confusion. One is called the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center, and that is only for Pacific Islands and international waters. It's not for the West Coast.
Oh, okay.
The one we want to pay attention to is called the National Tsunami Warning Center, and it's located in Palmer, Alaska. They were implemented in 1964 after the major earthquake in 1964, and that was a very damaging tsunami to California, one of the worst ones on record. So our earthquake warnings come from that center. It is housed by seismologists mainly, and they're looking at all the earthquake activity. Once an earthquake happens, they immediately evaluate how strong it was, how deep it was, how long it lasted, and what the impact could be for generating a tsunami. Then they'll put out a warning, the worst case scenario.
There's no way you can answer this question, but now you're making me want to go home and see what happens to the ocean life in a tsunami and how they respond.
If you're out on a boat in the middle of the ocean and a tsunami is going by you, you wouldn't even notice it.
Oh.
It would be like a little wave, just a little rise, just a brief little up and down, and that would be it.
So it's really only until it hits land.
As that big wave with this very long period arrives, it kind of slows down and it picks up more momentum and grows in height because it's piling water behind it. And as it's hitting the friction of the shoreline, it starts to grow higher and higher and then moves in, kind of like for Southern California, more like a major tide. It's like a tide is rolling in all of a sudden. And that's why we have really strong currents and damage to our harbors and our marinas. The port of Los Angeles gets struck by these. So that's where most of the damage happens. And if it's enough momentum of water, then it could inundate the shoreline and move inland.
Okay, we've talked about preparation, but what if people are just interested in the science of tsunamis?
So there's one main website to go to, and it's very easy to remember. It's tsunami.gov. You can see both educational information and also what's currently issued for any type of tsunami for California.
All right. Well, Eric, I want to talk to you about a lot of weather things at some point in time, so promise to come back.
I will.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks so much. And that's a wrap on this LA Currents.